Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's edition of 5 Minutes of Management. I'm Frank Kalman here with Rick Bell. Rick, we got a lot going on in workforce land, as always, this week. Believe it or not, even though it's only January, April's right around the corner, and that means the spring season of Workforce Live.
That's right. When the snow melts, it'll be time.
Hopefully, it will have melted by then.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that it might be snowing still.
It could be.
But you never know. So, yeah, we'll be in Boston on April 14th. April 19th will be in New York City, and April 28th will be in Washington, D.C. So if you're in any of those areas, be sure to check out Workforce Live. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and we've got a couple workforce focus events that are coming up later in the year.
That's right.
Probably in the fall. We've got 2 of them potentially planned, so stay tuned for information on that.
So if you like this video, Rick and I will both be at Workforce Live and Workforce Focus, respectively. So you'll have a chance to meet us in person, and who knows, maybe we'll sign your autograph for you or something.
We could.
Well, anyway, Rick, on the news front, some interesting stuff to talk about this week. Chiefly, cool story from the Wall Street Journal talking about how companies are pondering if they should be rating their workers' health and reporting such information to the public in earnings reports. According to the Wall Street Journal, a group of employers, including IBM, Pepsi, Johnson & Johnson, and some others, are weighing how to publicly report and measure the health of their workforce. Such ratings, the Wall Street Journal says, would give shareholders, corporate directors, managers, and consumers insight into a company's commitment to improving employee health. Do you think this is something companies should be doing?
I think it does lend value to an organization's to their bottom line, and I think if you can share that information with a certain level of discretion with your shareholders and with the public, I think that shows that you're a better company, a better organization, because you're out there trying to make your workplace a better place for employees and to improve their health. Now, there are privacy rules involved. Some employees are still really skeptical about sharing their data, and that's understandable too. So I think as we move into this new era, this Wellness 2.0 sort of era of sharing that data, then I think you'll be seeing these reports show up in stock reports.
Yeah, you're seeing this kind of trend in a lot of different areas. Traditionally it is all about financial results when you report earnings, and there have been a lot of movements to have some sort of different kind of measures to report. I think sustainability. There's a group out championing that. There's people management. We've always heard about people management and stuff like that. This one, I'm not going to say I disagree with the idea. I just wonder, first of all, I wonder how they're going to be able to do this. What single measurement is going to capture an entire employee population's health? I mean, you're talking about PepsiCo with hundreds of thousands of employees.
Right.
Maybe there's a happy medium where instead of the entire workforce, it's just the leadership suite.
It could be. Yeah, because in what we're seeing right now with wellness is that the ROI is hard to measure, and it's where do we come up with something that's a hard and fast statistic? And a lot of people are saying that's not necessarily important. There are different ways to measure the value of a wellness program and of a healthy population.
True. So we'll have to follow up and see what becomes of this story. Rick, what else we got going on?
Well, you know what? We're going to do our first Workforce 5 Minutes of Management Shoutout.
Oh, boy.
All right. So it's SAP. Congratulations, SAP, and a 5 Minutes of Management Shoutout to you. They are the first tech company in the U.S. to be awarded the Economic Dividends for Gender Equality Certificate in recognition of their commitment to gender equality in the workplace. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. In an industry that is often cited for gender imbalance, it's like SAP has made that commitment to have a fair balance of men and women in their workplace. So at the end of 2015, of last year, women made up over 32% of all the global workforce at SAP and held 23% of all leadership positions, which was a 4.2% increase over 2012. And so SAP also has a board-level commitment to reach 25% women in leadership by 2017, which is next year.
Very cool. Well, yeah, SAP, kudos to them for doing such a good job. And, Rick, this isn't the first time we've heard of SAP doing interesting stuff in the diversity area. If you recall, shameless plug here for the November 2014 issue of Talent Management, Workforce's sister publication, we did a cover story about SAP's program to hire autistic workers and to
That's right.
help them find specialty jobs with the company where their skills happen to fit in really well. So hat tip to SAP and check out that story if you're interested. So Rick, to close us off this week, I thought we'd bring up an interesting issue that I came across in The Economist, a think piece / column on what they call the collaboration curse. And what The Economist is arguing is that we've reached the point of overload when it comes to our need to collaborate in companies these days. Open office plans, teamwork. Basically, the argument is that this sort of work has become so saturated in our corporate culture that we're sort of missing out on the importance of deep focused work, which I think is worthwhile. What are your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of silos, Frank. I really do believe that there are times when collaboration is not that good, that you can over-collaborate and spend way too much time trying to get everybody to buy into a certain idea or plan or a way to do things, when it's just best to let people do their work. We need that time. I mean, how many times do you get interrupted by an email or somebody stopping by your office to say, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's great. I mean, it's an awesome thing that people want to communicate, but it's also just like a distraction. And we need that time to focus on certain projects or certain things that are in front of us, because there are those darn deadlines.
Yeah, and a lot of these problems have been, even though I think there have been technologies that have been helpful, I think, a lot of this collaboration curse has been made worse thanks to Yammer, Slack, just, instant messaging in general. And I think these are good tools, but yeah, there is a little bit of an overload in terms of probably how much time people are spending in meetings. And as this column points out, there's a lot of people who spend half their day or most of their day in meetings and end up having to go home and do their work because their days are just filled with collaboration.
Yep.
So I guess the takeaway would be find moderation.
Give me a silo.
Give me a silo.
Put me in a silo.
Don't bother Rick.
Don't bother me. Leave me alone.
Well, that's all we've got for this week's edition of 5 Minutes of Management. For Rick Bell, I'm Frank Kalman. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.